Hello everybody, welcome to part 7 of this farming plots tutorial. With a project as big as this, you're bound to make mistakes, and that's exactly what happened in part 6. I screwed up a couple of things. Let's go to the game settings, the custom tab, and the variable sub-tab, and go all the way down. In part 6, I actually mixed up these two variables, temp variable 0 and temp variable 1. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename these so that we don't make that mistake again. And I would advise you to do the same so that it'll be easier to not make mistakes. Temp variable 0 is supposed to represent the amount of days that have passed for any plant. So it's basically the age of the plant. Temp variable 1 is supposed to represent the type of plant. So I'll just name it temp plant type. And then temp variable 2 is the plot number for the event. It's basically what event we are currently controlling. While we're here, let's go to the flag tab and create a new flag called, we're going to create two. There's one called bag/target. This is going to be used for a future script that we will create, and also a flag called have space. These two flags will be used in a script that will determine if we have space in our inventory, and if we do, then the game will give us an item either in our personal inventory or bag. I'll explain it later. Let's go to scripts. Go to the seed motion scripts. There's more than one, so seed motion scripts. Seed motion 1. What we're going to do is add a new line. Let's copy the first line and paste it down below, right there. And instead of temp days past, we're going to change that to temp plant type. And instead of days past 1, it's going to be dirt 1. So we need to get the information of dirt 1. We need to figure out if there really is a plant on this plot. Let's copy this line and go to seed motion 2, and you're just gonna copy and paste, but also you are going to change dirt 1 to the correct variable. So in this case it's gonna be dirt 2, and save that. You probably have more than 2 seed motion scripts, and if you do, you would just copy and paste. Make sure to change the dirt variable to the correct one. So seed motion 32 would have temp plant type equals dirt 32, and so on and so forth. Now the next thing we're going to do is go to seed model, and we're going to change this line right here where it says script branch condition variable tool. You're going to change tool to temp plant type. Tool and temp plant type are pretty much the same thing, because tool is the type of plant, temp plant type is also the type of plant. The real difference here is that tool is representing the type of tool that the character is currently equipping. Temp plant type is the type of plant that the script is currently taking hold of, or the event that it's currently taking hold of, if that makes any sense. Alright, and save that. And go to plant model down here somewhere. There's going to be quite a few things we need to change here too. In my case, there's only about 3 things we have to change. For your scripts, there might be as many as 100 different things to change. But here's what you're going to change. anywhere that it says temp days past, you're going to change that to TempPlant type. And anywhere that it says TempPlant type, you're going to change that to temp days past. Make sure you don't miss any of them, because if you do, that will cause some serious bugs. But you should only have TempPlant type up here where it says sort. Everything else should be temp days past. So that should make it easier to remember which ones you have to change and which ones you don't, if you've already changed them. Also, I learned recently that these lines of code right here where it says vertical move 12 and vertical move 16, they don't actually do anything for some reason, which I'll talk about later. So these don't... For some reason, the game totally ignores those lines. I'm not really sure why, but I have a better way of doing it, which I'll talk about later. And I think that's about it. So change those variables. Save that. Go to seed control. Anywhere that it says temp days past, you're going to change that to TempPlant type, and anywhere that you see TempPlant type, you're going to change that to temp days past. These are the scripts that I created in part 6, and I totally mixed up the variables. Now, in theory, they should have still... They still should have they should have... Oh my god, I can't talk. They should have worked, in theory, because these are temporary variables, but because I like to stay consistent, I want to make sure that we're using the correct variable. Now, I've only changed 4 lines of code in this script, but you may have as many as 100 different ones to change, so that might take a while. Once you're done with that, save it, go to all days plus 1. Where is that? Here it is. All days plus 1. Now what I'm going to do is, you see where it says watered 1 up here, and then down here it says watered 1, and then right after the condition ends it says watered 2. Anything after watered 1, after the condition end for watered 1, I'm going to highlight everything after it and delete it. The reason why is because we're going to edit this right here, and then when we're done editing that, we're going to copy and paste it for the other things. I don't know if that makes it easier. I guess it does. Maybe it would be easier if you just edited all of the lines. I don't know. What I'm going to do is copy this condition and paste it right at the top. And then I'm going to change flag to variable and select dirt1. Dirt1 is greater than or equal to 3. 3 and anything higher than 3 is a plant. And then I'm going to copy that condition and put it right in the middle. And I'm going to edit this, and instead of dirt1, it's going to say days past 1 is greater than or equal to 1. And then I'm going to copy where it says watered 1 equals off all the way down to condition end. So it's just 3 lines of code. I'm going to copy that, delete it, and paste it right in the middle of these 2 conditions. So it should say something like, there's a condition that checks to see if it's a plant. 3 and anything higher than 3 is a plant. And then it checks to see if it's at least a day old, or older than a day, and then it checks to see if you forgot to water it, and if you did, then it changes into a dead plant. And I'm gonna copy all of this. In fact, before I do that, I'm gonna put a divider This might make it easier for you. If it is easier, you can put a divider right at the bottom, copy all of this right here, and paste it after the divider. And then change the variables and the flags. So instead of dirt1, it's going to be dirt2. Instead of days past 1, it's going to be days past 2. Instead of watered 1, it's going to be watered 2, and so on and so forth. You're just going to copy and paste for as many dirt events as you have, or as many plots as you have. I only have 2, so... And for the last line right here where it says data variable days past 1 equals days past 1, make sure that you not only change the first variable, but make sure you change this one too. There's 2 things you have to change in this line. So once you're done with that... Oh, there's one more thing we have to do in this script. If you want to, you can put another divider here. You don't have to. But I'm just going to put a divider at the very bottom and then go to Data, Flags, and you're going to turn all the watered flags off. All of them, for as many as you have. So watered 1 equals off. I'm going to copy that and paste it and change that to watered 2. The reason why we do that is so that when we go to the next day, the plots or the soil, they are no longer watered. That's pretty much it. Alright, so let's create a new script called call inventory. This is something I have done dozens of times in my tutorials on my channel. You might be familiar with this. What we're going to do is just check to see if the character has any space in their inventory. So the first thing we're going to do is go to Data, Flags, and we're going to turn bag/target off. By default, it's already off, but we want to make sure that it is off, so we're going to turn it off anyway, even though we already know that it's off. And we're also going to turn... I'm going to copy that line and paste it, and change this to have space. We're going to turn that off as well. So we're going to assume that the character does not have any space in their inventory. The next thing we're going to do is go to Data, Game Info, Load. What this does is it loads the party's inventory. All of the information about their inventory, what kind of items does it have, and how many items does it have, and things like that. And then we're going to go to Condition Branch, or Script Branch Condition, Variable Total Items. Total items is the total amount of any one single item that you have. It's not the total number of items that you have in the bag, but it's the total number of items of a specific object or a specific item. So if you have 99 mushrooms, then that would be the total amount of mushrooms that you have. That's what we're trying to figure out here. How many total items do they have? Now you might be wondering, how does this know that you're talking about mushrooms or turnips or anything like that? Well, we're going to specify that in another script. So for now, this kind of looks a bit strange because we haven't defined what total items is. For all the game knows, total items could mean anything, really. But just think of it in terms of any one specific item, whether it be a mushroom, or a turnip, or a potato, or whatever. Right in the middle of that condition... oh yeah, I forgot to mention, not equal to 99. 99 is the maximum amount of any one item a character can have. So right in the middle of that, we're gonna say data flags have space equals on. And then script for script end. That's pretty much it. By the way, this script is going to be called by another script. So it might look a little confusing at first because there's not a lot of context. We haven't defined some of the things that we're putting down, like total items, for example. But bear with me and it'll start to make more sense later on. I'm gonna put a divider right here and create a condition. Actually, no, not yet. I'm gonna go to data, variable, member order equals 0. Script branch repeat, variable member order is not equal to 4. 4 is the maximum amount of characters you can have in your party. We're gonna cycle through every character to see if they have room in their inventory, and if they do, then we're gonna give them an item. Let's go to data, member info, use member order. What this does is it takes the member order variable, the value of that variable, and it figures out who that member is. And then go to data, member info, load. So we can load their inventory information to see what kind of items they have and how many items they have. And we're gonna create a condition. Go to variable, total member item. Let me see if I can find that. I think I passed it. Total member item. That's the total amount of items they have in their inventory, and we're gonna say not equal to 12. 12 is the maximum amount of items any one character can carry. So we want to check to see if they have room in their inventory, then we're gonna go to data, flags, bag/target equals on. So now instead of focusing on the bag, we're focusing on the target. Target just means character, really. That's all it really means. I'm gonna copy that and paste it and change this to have space equals on. So we know that they have space in their inventory, and then after that, we're gonna force script end, so go to script, force script end. Alright. And then right after the condition, right before branch end, we're gonna go to data, variable, member order equals itself plus 1. So it's gonna cycle through every member in the party. That's what this is doing. So basically, if the first member in the party doesn't have inventory space, if their inventory is full, then it's gonna go down to this line right here and go to the next member, and it's gonna go back up to this repeating branch and check their inventory to see if they have space, and if they don't, it's going to go to the next member, and so on and so forth, up until it goes to the last member. And at that point, if none of the members have any inventory space, it's going to jump out of the repeating branch. I'm going to put a divider after the branch end, which is the repeating branch. Go to Data, System, Get Item Name. Now this is a little confusing because we haven't defined what item it is. But like I said, we're gonna call this script. So we're gonna do that in another script. Item name could be anything, really. After that, we're gonna go to screen display, text, message, and you can just write something like, you can't carry, and then a space right after that. And then make sure to uncheck close window. Go to screen display, content, input, common name. Common name is the name of the item. That's what this line of code does. It takes the name of the item and it puts it into an input called common name. So common name could be anything. It could be a potato, it could be a turnip. So if it's a turnip, it's gonna say you can't carry turnip, basically. And then right after that, we're gonna do screen display, text, message. You can put an exclamation point. The only purpose for this really is to make sure that close window is checked. So this could be a period or an exclamation mark, or it could be left completely blank. It doesn't really matter, just as long as close window is checked so that they can close the window afterwards. We're done with that. We're not quite finished with this tutorial, unfortunately. So I'll meet you in part 8, and we will finish it up. Hopefully it will only take one more video to finish this off. We're so close to being done. So I'll see you then. Thanks for watching, and thank you for subscribing.